put it on my phone so I can see it. This says I'm live, so tell me if you get a notification or not.
It's on here live.
Did it just pop up? Hey,
Yeah, you get a notification buzz right there.
uh, did you go to videos? Like,
Just the home.
oh yeah, it does say, "Hi, how are you? I am fine," sort of. I want to see if there's like chat here. I don't want to take it off of there because I feel like the second that I
Yeah,
do
there's
that.
people.
Oh, hey. Okay, so I had to put it on my phone so I could see the chat because the streaming software that I'm using doesn't have anything on it. So, hey. Yeah. I was doing a lot of lives for a while and then I got kind of a few complaints. But then, like, those people that complain never come to the lives and they never watch any of my videos. So, yeah. How are you guys doing? How are you feeling, Xena? Yeah, I thought the more random the title, the more intriguing people would be that have never come to the stream. Hey, random stream. I did post earlier on Twitter and Instagram and a community tab a couple of hours ago. So, hello. Hello, Xena. I hope you're feeling good. Hello, Tank. Hello, Cats. Hello, Gling, Phantom Zone. Yeah, like normally the people that give the most input are the people that are the least active on the channels. Hey, Ronnie. Hey. Yeah, I was learning some new Spanish earlier for like trucks and ambulances and very beginner grade Spanish. I've got paranormal stories for tonight. I'm going to wait just a few more minutes. I know that most of you were here the other night. Hey, Peter. Is this a couple of hours ago? No, this is happening right now, Peter. That's a really, like, is this, if this, hello, Laura. If this was a couple of hours ago, you wouldn't be able to type into the chat. I think I need to, like, let people know when the video premieres. Like, I need to put a comment in the comment section that puts, like, if you're here during the premiere, click on the chat box so that you can come and talk to everybody. I'm not sure that everybody knows to do that, do they? My fault I missed the last couple. I haven't done a live since last week, I think. I was going to do one on Sunday, but it just got away from me. And Monday, I started this art project. You ever start something and you're just like, I have to finish this? That's where I was mentally, so that's why I didn't have a video. I mean, I leave everything up generally. Even if I don't think it's good, I still leave it up, which maybe I shouldn't do that. I was thinking, like, if this channel ever becomes anything big someday, which I've been doing this since, 2016, so, I don't know. But a lot of you guys need to be mods so I can still, like, see your conversation and your input in the conversations, so, yeah. I'm just gonna wait till, like, maybe 5 after before I start reading. 1.5 days till ink therapy and 4.5 days till my birthday. Happy pre-birthday to Tank. Oh yeah, I leave it all up. Even the ones when I was first narrating and it's really bad. Your story request. You know, Xena, I did revenge stories the other day. I recorded them and everything, but when I was listening back, they were really PG-13. They didn't seem very revengey. So, I don't know. Hey, Element. And Lord, you don't say that you're going to die. Please don't say that. It's birthday month for Tank. December is my birthday. Yeah. My husband just did the Frank the Tank motion from old school. If anybody's familiar when Will Ferrell was Frank the Tank. Hardcore revenge. Yeah, that's why I didn't do them, because I'm like, you guys don't come here for PG-13. You come here for the gross, disgusting things that other people won't read on their channels. And then I was thinking about what other narrators in general any narrators, how many of them actually live stream and interact with you? Because every time I go to a live, it doesn't matter if it's on like um, Facebook or TikTok or YouTube. It's very rarely that you can interact with people that you like watch consume their content. I'm just curious if you guys interact with anybody else. Hey, mine's the 18th, cats. Nope. You wouldn't have any responsibilities mainly. You could just kick people out if they were rude. Like if there was like, let's say there was 100 people in here and somebody was like saying something disgusting or just being like harassing somebody, you could just kick them out if I missed it. That's it. Thank you, dear Laura, and anyone who wishes me. Frank said, we're going streaking in the quad. He said,
KFC still open?
it looks like it's so cold out, Frank. Yeah. I'm just like fast forwarding. They only read super chats. I know. I noticed that. That's why I'm thinking if the channel ever gets big, that's a really big if. Let me say when the channel gets big, I'll make you guys all mods. I don't know how many mods you can have, but that way I can still see your interactions specifically, and then you guys can help control who is in the chat. So I'm just projecting. You know, I'm a dreamer. I'm a dreamer. I am. Mods can time people out too. Ooh. Dun dun dun. I'm a grower, not a shower. Tank, I think you and my husband just became best friends. Oh, starting to get cold in California. It is? I moderate for 3 channels. Oh, I've never moderate. Somebody made me a mod on something, and then I don't remember what it was for. And I was like, why am I a mod here? I don't know what to do. That was a really long time ago. I do mod a Twitch channel, but it's like about personal development, nothing gross or gruesome. Oh. I haven't had anybody come into the chat in a long time that's been disgusting, so nothing to worry about. But I just thought about that. Like, every time I see a live on TikTok, I rarely click on it because you don't get to interact with people. There's one lady that does interact with you, but there's only a couple of people that go to her lives because she's recording her audiobooks. So I like have questions for her. I used to watch a stream by All Time Gaming. It was a small stream, maybe 50 people, small stream. And there was always one person live to read chat, so that was interacting. So this was the channel was discontinued. Aw. You had snow today? Oh, you're in Colorado though, aren't you, Xena? It's in the 70s, so it's not that bad. I stay away from TikTok. I get addicted to TikTok, but I'm usually looking for funny stuff. But today I saw a lady that was she randomly popped up on my For You page, and she is in Texas, and she was talking about being prepared for when the weather gets bad. She was talking about her experience last year when the power went out in Texas, and she's like, she was in Galveston, I think, and FEMA was in Houston. So people were like, why isn't FEMA's there to help? And she's like, but the thing is if you were in Galveston, you couldn't get there because the gas stations weren't working either, because those were powered by electricity as well. So people that were in other cities were stranded there. They had no resources, and those houses were not built for cold weather. So they were literally not set up for that. The one lady said she got to another city to get a hotel room, and it was like $400 a night, and she had no choice because she had 2 little kids. Aw, thanks, cats. I was just passing that random thought in my head earlier when I was thinking about, like, when I go to chats, I'm like, I don't usually try to interact because you ask a question and it's pretty rare that people interact with you. I think I went to like the only time I feel like people will interact with you is if you go to, man, there's a channel that just does lives, and it's horror, and I cannot remember their channel name. I used to go to their lives all the time. I can't remember it now. $400. It was out of desperation. It was kind of a fancy hotel, but they didn't have any other. That was the only one that had any rooms available, and the lobby was filled with people trying to get rooms. But most people don't have $400 to drop on a room at a moment's notice. Oh. All right, so we've been chatting long enough. Oh, and I was going to update you guys. I've been trying to see if there's been any kind of update for that guy that I worked with that murdered someone, unalived someone, is what I meant to say. Um, if you guys missed that, but I think all you guys were there for that. To be honest, I don't think I've slept very well, and I've had this, and this might not make sense to anyone, but I've had this weird, like, not a hallucination, but this irrational fear of an enormous alligator walking down the hall to my bedroom and then standing at the side of my bed ever since I found that out. Does that make sense to anyone? Can anyone make sense of that? It sounds like psychosis to me, but it's just the reality hitting me in the face, I guess. I go on a transgender channel and the person does live streams daily. Is that on YouTube or is that on TikTok? Yeah, I haven't heard anything back about the guy at all. We were just on some websites for the state to try and like see any updates, but there aren't any, and you can't look him up in a prison database. And the jail in the county where he would be, it didn't have like a search engine to find them, and that's not really the information I'm looking for. I was trying to see if he's been arraigned or not, but most courts are backed up for a long time, so he's probably going to sit in his county jail for a while. No, there's no alligators here. That's the crazy part. Are you still in the hospital, Xena? And what is the update? Or if you can give us any. Astro Lori does lives on TikTok. She's very interactive. She is late night for Central Time Zone. Sometimes there's a few that I like to see. There's somebody on TikTok called the Trans Handyman. Very good. Very helpful. Does all kinds of like little tiny like things for people who never had a parent that teach them like little basic fix it things around their house. She does a lot of stuff like that, so I like that. I used to worry about the train wrecking my house. We lived behind the station, but after 25 years, I couldn't care less. Something is going wrong. I can't type on this tablet. But you just did that. I need to keep my phone open so I can see if there's any delay or lag in the live, so I can keep myself up to date. That way I'll know. I'm near you, Laura? For real? The awake visual hallucinations of a fearful gator creature is similar to hallucinations a waking dream I have of a large hairy beast making me drive off the road. Really? It's like an irrational fear, but it's like there. It's like it's not there, but it's like the fear that it's right there is real, right? That's making me feel crazy. But I can rationalize it because this event just happened. I'm just thankful he didn't hurt me or anybody that we worked with. That's all. Did somebody say Harry be a creeper? Oh no. Back on oxygen and IVs. You should read clown stories. Hey man, you've been wanting Glitch in the Matrix stories forever. You want clown stories? You got it. The Trans Handy Ma'am. Thank you. Yes. I fear that when I am driving in the woods more often than when I'm in the city. Oh. Okay. I get it. Have you driven off the road at all when you're in the woods? Is this something that has happened? Maybe that's why the fear is there? I don't know. All right. Oh, yeah, Xena. Man, I'm really looking forward to when you get to update us on something good. Not that that's anything that you can do, but I'm looking forward to that because I really don't want to hear about anybody getting sick. It's not fun. I know. All right, so now we're getting the request for clown stories. So clown stories that will stick out for sure. I did a creepypasta about a clown years ago. I don't know if anybody heard that or not. So, anyways, tonight we are doing paranormal stories, predominantly ghost stories, but some of them are just paranormal. No, but I had some creatures jump in front of me in the woods and had to slam on brakes and skidded, but didn't hit any trees or cliffs. Hmm. Hmm. Clowns that try to be scary don't scare me. It's the circus clowns that creep me out, like Bozo the Clown. Yeah, I've never had an irrational fear of clowns. The only time I was afraid of clowns was the first time I saw Poltergeist, for very obvious reasons. But that's the only time. They don't really scare me. And you know when that was going, what was that, like 2018, when the clowns were appearing places and trying to threaten people? And I thought, man, I would not be scared of that. I would probably try and run them over with my car. Shout out to Kink the Trash Clown. Gacy is the only creepy clown for me. Yeah, but he was a creepy person. I think he would be creepy even without the clown makeup on. Like, I think he would have given off that creepy vibe no matter what he was wearing. That guy was. Oh no. How is your husband in there with you? Great clown that reminds me. I did a clowns versus zombies paintball event. Oh, that sounds super fun. Which were you? Were you a clown or were you a zombie? I'll get back to that. Right now, we're going to start with this is from the website Outside Online. And this we're starting with 3 true ghost stories for your next backyard campfire. Dun dun dun. We'll see. We'll rate them. This one is called The Ghost of Oxford Milford Road. The writer and editor Brad Culp. When Brad Culp was a student at Miami University in Oxford, Ohio, there was a rumor that the town was one of the most haunted places in America. When Culp started an on-campus magazine, he couldn't wait to write about several of the area's most famous phantoms. Not long after his story published, though, he kept finding himself thinking about one ghost in particular, the ghost of Oxford Milford Road. As the story goes, many decades ago, probably sometime in the 1940s, there was a young man courting a young woman in a rural part of town. Because the woman's parents didn't approve of the match, each night he visited under the cover of darkness. After her parents went to bed, the young woman would sneak out of her farmhouse and flash the lights of her parents' car 3 times. Then her young suitor would ride his motorcycle down the road. One night he took the turn right before her house a little too sharp. The motorcycle went one way, he went the other. His injuries were so severe that he did not survive. Rumor has it, however, that his love-struck ghost still haunts this stretch of Milford Road. Curious, Culp, his girlfriend, now wife, and a friend decided to head out there one night to see if they could verify the tale. His girlfriend was worried she'd be completely freaked out. She believes more in that stuff than I do, he said. But he was mostly concerned that his suspicions that none of this was actually true would be confirmed. On this particular night, as Culp passed the abandoned farm, an idea came to him, and he pitched it to his girlfriend. How could she not say yes? Though reluctant, she relented, and Culp turned a short way into the farmhouse driveway. He killed the engine and flashed his lights 3 times. No joke, there was a single headlight that appeared 3/4 of a mile down the road. You saw it start to come, going pretty slowly. It kept coming and coming. My wife was freaking out. It was coming closer and closer. As a collision seemed imminent, Culp turned on his car's lights. He expected to see a kid on a bike, bailing out from his prank now that he'd been caught. But there was nothing there. The light was just gone. They got out of the car, they walked around trying to figure out what it was they could have seen. To this day, we still talk about it. I saw something I can't explain. If you get him and his wife around a campfire, they'll swear up and down that the story is true. And if you're ever in Oxford, Ohio, consider parking for just a few minutes on Oxford Milford Road at night to test your own nerve. Ooh, let's go to Ohio. That sounds fun. Dun dun dun. Who wants to go road trip? I swear, if I had a big like vehicle, don't throw it, Ronnie. Try resetting it and rejoining. Yeah, we'll be here for a while. We'll be here for a while. See if you can do the text to chat, Ronnie. That's what I do a lot of times because I get so sick of typing with my fingers. Especially if I'm texting someone, then I have to go back and like edit it and make sure everything isn't misspelled, and it happens a lot when you do text to chat, which is annoying. Anyway. All right, this next story is called Was It People or Was It Aliens? Doug Averill grew up as one of 8 boys on his parents' sprawling dude ranch, the Flathead Lake Lodge in rural Montana. As a teen, the Averill boys ran wild. We rode around as a little gang of cowboys, he remembers. They'd saddle up and head off to check cattle on 3 giant tracts of land that the family managed, which formed a triangle around some of the state's most remote rangelands. One summer in the 1960s, the brothers came across a ghastly sight. There on the ground were 3 dead cows, neatly arranged in a circle. No obvious wounds were visible, but the reproductive organs had been removed. There was never any blood. It was almost surgical removal. During this decade, America was so obsessed with aliens, and write-ups in the local newspapers posited that perhaps this was the work of extraterrestrials. People mused that aliens had taken the reproductive organs for testing. But one day, Averill and his friends came across a lance on their path, attached it to a cryptic note with a threatening message. That's when we thought, it's got to be people doing this. That's when things got really strange. Over the next few days, a series of odd events unfolded. First, the brothers stopped at a local bar to grab a hamburger, leaving their horses in the back of a stock truck. The horses were packed in tightly, and the Averills were only gone for a few minutes. When they came back, the horse packed in the middle of the truck was mysteriously out, with no signs of a struggle. We had no idea how they possibly could have gotten that horse unloaded without unloading all the others. The next day, a new wrangler on the ranch fell off his horse and was badly injured. They'd all been riding together, but not a single other member of the crew saw the accident. It was the weirdest thing. The man's injuries were so severe he was left permanently disabled. The last terrible thing that happened was an old camp cook drove out to meet the brothers and ride for a day. But when he arrived, the tailgate on his stock truck had somehow gone missing, even though it had been there when he'd loaded it up. His horse, Betsy, had fallen out of the truck and been dragged behind the vehicle for who knows how long. Oh, that's terrible. They had to put her down on the spot. To be honest, it just killed him to see what had happened to his horse. We probably should have put him down too. Oh, that's what the heck. Those 3 events were just boom, boom, boom. 3 things in a row that were so weird and tied together because they were right after we saw that spear. Three things, like 3 dead cows left in a circle. Averill used to tell stories from that summer around a campfire quite a lot. But over the years, he's gotten new stories, and so they've been shifted out of rotation. Besides, they're awfully grim. But he recently got a call about a downed bull, a buffalo. It was in and out of the most remote parts of his ranch. A neighbor had seen a pack of 16 wolves, and normally wolves don't bother buffalo, but 16 of them? He went to investigate. There, lying in a snow-covered field, was the bull, but there were no bullet holes or teeth marks or gashes on its corpse. Even strangers, scavenging animals and birds hadn't touched it, not even the buzzards, which is really unusual. One other thing that was amiss, its reproductive organs were gone. There wasn't a single footprint in the snow around it, or anywhere along the mile-long walk into the ranch from the nearest road. Ask Averill whether he thinks he's dealing with aliens or humans, and he'll tell you pretty sure it's humans. But I'd rather it was aliens, he says. After that summer back in the 60s, seeing what humans were capable of, he'd pick aliens any day. I mean, honestly, why? They do that in a remote area and then leave the cows there. Like, why wouldn't you just dispose of the cows? Yeah. Moo the hell cow. Oh my god. Oh, take us off-roading in Ohio. Get to harder overgrown places. There's so many haunted places in Ohio. I need to do a video just on Ohio. Between the urban legends and the haunted places in Ohio. I thought I did start a video on that, but like the stories that I found for it were terrible. But I need to do not just like, I need to do urban legends and then scary places in Ohio. Because there's some that are like, there's some YouTubers that have done places in Ohio and they do like 5 of them, but there's tons. Even just like, isn't that one spot in Ohio where if you were to draw on a map the cemeteries, it forms a pentagram? Remember, we said we were going to go there when we went to go see Jimmy and Brian, and then we never went. And I can't remember where in Ohio, but
It was like the 4th largest cemetery in the United States. We snuck in there at night.
I already did the gathering, and I just got done hosting Reza Kill's Night of the Shrunken Heads Festival. I've been getting it in. What? Oh. I'm sorry. I'm scrolling up to see if I missed anything. You put a video on your channel recently? Awesome. Go check out Phantom Zone stuff. Hey, Phantom Zone, leave a link in the comment section after actually leave a link in any of the videos. Well, can you post a link here, Phantom? See if it'll work. Hey, tall guy. Hey. They have super haunted places in Ohio, but when YouTubers go there, nothing happens. The next paranormal video that I do, which my next video isn't a paranormal one, but the next one that I'll do, I'll put that footage in from when we went to that cemetery where you roll backwards up the hill. Yeah, Phantom. If you can post the link here, then I'll like make sure that it gets posted, or put it in the comment section, either here, and then I will put it in the community tab if you want. And I think you're the only one here that has a YouTube channel. If I'm wrong, please correct me. The Creeper writes a lot, but I think you also have a YouTube channel. And Cats writes too, don't you? Anytime you guys have any links, please let us know so that we can consume your content, whatever that might be. All right, let me yeah, but Peter, you live in the UK or the EU, right? So there's all kinds of public transport, am I right? There's areas here, like in my state, even in my city, there's no public transport at all. You have to pay for the transport, and it's expensive. Like if you pay for Uber or Lyft or whatever, that's the only kind of transport here. If you're in Flint or Detroit or like what's another major city? Ann Arbor, Kalamazoo, Grand Rapids, Ann Arbor, they have like public buses, but it's pretty rare. Like if you don't live in one of those big cities, and plus all those cities except for Flint, the rent's usually pretty high, especially Ann Arbor. I'm not sure which one's the most expensive.
Flint's got killer rates.
Flint has killer rates and terrible water, so I'm surprised anybody's still living there. I'm sure it's not by choice. I have a channel, but I don't have anything on it yet. Yes, please tell everyone. Saginaw. Yeah, they have public transport too.
Sag nasty.
Sag nasty. Mm-hmm. I have some videos, but most of mine were gaming videos, and my cat are mountain biking. Hey, some people love that stuff. There's some people that put some stuff up on YouTube. that can, it's from someone who takes like, I want my videos to be a very specific way, and you have no idea how many times I'm like, man, I shouldn't post that. It's not perfect. And then I go on someone else's channel and they've got like 300,000 followers and their videos get hundreds of thousands of views. They don't edit correctly. They don't like put the camera in the right spot, and people watch their content anyway. So if you have content, for the love of God, put it up. You never know if someone's going to want to watch it. You know? You just never know. I'm here to cheer you on. So whoever has anything they want to put out there, put it out there. I'm always surprised at the kind of content that takes off. Mukbang channels, like people love that stuff. And there's this one person who used to comment on my videos for a while, but I didn't respond because it was disgusting. But he'd say, "It sounds like you have a lot of saliva in your mouth." Like, what? Why would you say that to someone? I didn't respond because it's creepy. But I also don't want to say something negative and then deter that person from like raising my algorithm. So I'm like, thank you so much. I only have a few white enamel videos on my channel. This one. A lot of incels on YouTube. Haven't had anything in a long time. Oh, you don't? You? No, I think you live in the EU. No, Germany? I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm just saying, there's a lot of channels that have some crap content, and they have a. Whew, my heart's beating really fast. I drank a Monster today to try to get some stuff done, and whew, my heart's beating fast. You know how your heart will beat fast, and like
Oh, great. There's gonna be crocodiles down the hallway tonight.
my heart. Oh, it's taking my breath away a little bit.
Drinking that monster.
What?
Drinking that monster. There's gonna be crocodiles down the hallway tonight.
Whew. Sometimes you just have to get something done. So I won't drink one tomorrow. I'll tell you that. Sounds like
Stuff done with water.
good for you, honey. You're the best. No one's better than you are, right? Isn't that the mentality that you're saying? It's like someone that says, I don't watch TV. I don't have a television." That's good for you, but I watch a lot of TV. I always need to like listen to something or watch something while I'm also doing something, or I'm doing one thing because I'm getting ready to go to bed. Ooh, cats. You know how many people would do that? There's like 3 different people that have that on TikTok. I'm learning how to swear in German, in ASL, and then I think it was either Chinese or Japanese. Please don't come for me because I can't remember off the top of my head, learning swear words and different ways to say them. So don't try a red line. No, I rarely have a energy drink because I'm already pretty up there, but I know that I've explained that when I had COVID, I still get like some days I'm fine and other days I'm really tired, and I've been really tired for like a week straight. So I needed something to kind of boost my energy today. Anyway, back to this. This is the third one out of these 3 stories. The Ghost of La Parva Ski Resort. And let me know if you guys have heard any of these before, because I haven't. So far, I haven't anyway. Oh, this one says, throughout Latin America, you'll hear variations of the story La Llorona, or the Wailing Woman. Sometimes she lost her husband. Sometimes she's lost her children. Sometimes it's both. But in La Parva, a ski spot in the Chilean Andes, a wailing woman is named Lola, and everyone in the area swears they knew her before she died. A local restaurant owner said he dated her. Pro skier Drew Tabke says, adding that the ski patroller he heard the story from pointed at the exact hut where this tale takes place. Ooh. So it's like a haunted ski mountain. Dun dun dun. Llorona. La Llorona. Let's see. The story starts on a nice day in peak ski season. Lola and her young son planned to spend the day on the slopes. As can happen in the Andes, a thick fog rose up from the valley, which often precedes the arrival of a real storm. The clouds enveloped the two as they were making their way down from the top of the mountain, and they lost contact with one another. Desperate to find her son, Lola began screaming his name as she ran through the thick fog. Unable to see clearly, though, she stumbled down a steep slope and began sliding toward a rocky collier. Collier? I don't know how to say that word. Anyway, by chance, a local lift operator who was returning to his cabin came across her body. He was afraid she was dead, but on closer inspection, he found she was still alive, but just barely. Her body was covered in lacerations from sharp rocks, and the only word she said in the faintest whisper was her son's name. The lift operator worked carefully to pull her body to his cabin, which was just up the hill. He bandaged her cuts as best as he could, then he ran to fetch the doctor. Together, the doctor and the lift operator made their way back to his hut, the fog hanging thickly in the air. When they arrived, though, the bed was empty. Just the bloody sheets remained. Neither the woman nor her son were ever found, but locals report hearing her wail for her child whenever they're near that lift operator's cabin. And here's the thing. Tabke doesn't believe in ghosts. Something, however, changes when he arrives in Chile each winter. Maybe it's the fact that from La Parva you can see up to Cerro El Plomo, an Incan, I'm sorry, I'm butchering these words, an Incan child sacrifice site? Oh no. Maybe it's because Tabke has simply read so many magical realism books by authors like Juan Rulfo and Gabriel Garcia Marquez. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I know I'm saying these words wrong and these names wrong. But sitting alone in his cabin in the Andes with the wind whipping and the candles flickering, he swears that every now and then he can just tell that if what he's hearing is a woman or the wind. I don't know. I think it doesn't help if you've already been told the stories. You know what I mean? Like if you go into an empty building and you're like, oh, this is an empty building, I just want to look around. But if you go into that same empty building and someone says, oh, there's a ghost on the third floor that will smack you in the face on the second Tuesday of every month, then you're going to go on in there on the second Tuesday of every month and expect to get smacked in the face. And anything that even resembles something of you getting smacked in the face is going to be a smack in the face. You know what I mean? La Llorona was made into an American film, and many say it didn't do the legend justice. Well, of course not. No, you're doing great. Yeah, I'm doing great destroying these words. I'm so sorry.
Blah, blah, blah.
I could make a legit learning Japanese journey, but who would like that? Everyone. Everyone would do that. Heck yeah. I hope my boss never learns Irish because I swear at him all the time. That's awesome. Also, Irish swear words, which are harder to understand than I thought. It's that the rolling of the tongue is difficult. Like everyone said Japanese is the hardest, I think. I would think that Russian is the hardest language to learn just from small comparisons. But somebody said that Japanese was the hardest to learn. When you go in knowing past history of ghostly interactions, you will expect things to happen. Right. That's what I think too. But I think anytime you've got some sort of learning, anything you can teach someone, or when you're learning something and you're on a journey, people want to see it. So just try it out, you know? And if you want to start something, don't over obligate yourself. Just try to do it once a week and start small, because just setting up your channel is kind of a process in and of itself. And then you got to post it on social media so people can know. And that takes a while to grow. But there's some channels that take right off. So I don't know. I don't know what the magic ticket is, or I probably have more followers. Do you believe in ghosts? Do you guys believe in ghosts? I think that there's so much more to life and afterlife that we'll never know. You can't possibly know just because someone else tells you. I think you have to experience it. I heard English was the hardest language to learn. It's so impressive though. Like every time I hear someone speak Russian, I'm like, how do you do it? And it's so rare. Like I've heard people speak Japanese quite a lot just from like either a movie or like I stumble onto a Japanese speaking TikTok or a YouTube. But Russian, I've very rarely ever heard anyone speak Russian, so ooh, I would think that if you're gonna go with dead languages, isn't Aramaic gonna be the hardest one to learn? What is the oldest language? That's it. That's what we can ponder on while I go to this next set of paranormal experiences. This one is from WCPO.com, Cincinnati. Um, Oddly enough, this is from Ohio. That's really weird. Maybe are there other places called Cincinnati that's not Ohio?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Okay, it's titled "These Are Your Scariest Real Life Paranormal Experiences." We asked, you delivered. Okay. Dun dun dun. So this one says, and these are all short mini ones. So it says, my 3-year-old son was trying to take a picture of me. He didn't realize the camera was backward. He took several photos within seconds of each other. I grabbed the camera back when he was done and started erasing the photos to make space. The first 2 images were blurry. But when I got the third picture, there was a startling face right behind his. I've never seen this person in my life, and we're the only 2 home. Can you see this?
Yeah.
Well, it looks like it almost looks like a half the face of Evan Peters is right behind this little kid's face. I wish there was a way to share this. I just did maybe the next live stream I'll try to experiment around with this, but I was trying to figure out how can you share your screen on Streamlabs OBS, and I don't want to do it right now and screw up the stream. So one day this week or next week in the middle of the just at a random time you might see me live streaming just trying to figure that out because I did find out that you can share your screen. But as you've seen, just the simplest act of adding a microphone in here kind of had a learning curve. So I don't want to screw up the stream by trying to share something with you right now and then have the stream get cut off. Oh, Zyomanic? Want to hear one of those scary night shift stories? Heck yeah, Gling. Heck yeah. Aramaic and Babylonian Sanskrit. Hieroglyphics. But they've figured that out, haven't they? Okay. Next one. Let's see. I ran a nonprofit coffee shop called Choices Cafe on the corner of 15th and Elm Street. This is from downtown Cincinnati. I had a huge sub basement with a lot of old remnants and bottles. It was totally haunted. Many high school students engaged in service learning activities there. One night we were outside the shop around a fire and I took a picture of a young man. What came out shocked us. So it looks like if you were outside, so this guy's standing by fire and it's dark outside and he's just like poking the fire with a stick. So if you were outside with him, it would have looked like a shadow. But when you look at the picture closer, it looks like a green-faced man is kind of standing right behind this kid but trying to hide. But he's looking right at the camera. But he wasn't there, so that's crazy. I didn't know these were all photos, so hopefully the stories are decent. I was in my kitchen with one of my kids while she was eating. I took a picture of her and posted it on Facebook. And that's when people started asking me, who is the man in the background? Her and I were the only 2 in the home. I look at the picture again and you can see an older man looking around the corner of the pantry. They added that their house was built in 1877. I don't think it matters when your house was built. I think it matters the land. From the looks of it, okay, it kind of looks like there's a man around there, but what it looks like is there's a bag on top of a box on top of a shelf in the other room, but matrixing is making it look like it's a face. That's what it looks like to me. It looks like a bag is sitting on top of there, but it just happens to be shaped like a nose, like the corner of the bag, the bottom corner, and then the sides are pushed in. That's what it looks like to me, but to each his own. Let's see here. Gling said, I used to work in an office type building by myself at night and always heard footsteps and other noises. I always heard the scariest night was when I was up front working in an office and the door was open. Ooh, I should wait to read that, right? Because there's so much more to it, I imagine. Let's see. Daniel Ellis sent us this story of a bone-chilling childhood experience in his Mount Washington home. Listen to his voicemail and check out Kevin's necessary comic style. Okay, so I'm going to play this and you should be able to hear it through my... You know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm sorry. I don't want to do anything that's going to screw up the stream. Since I don't know, I'm just going to leave it alone. So we're going to skip this one. We'll try and come back to it at the end. Let's see if we can. This next one says, I used to live in an apartment in Milford, Ohio, that was so haunted I had to move out. Candles were tossed around. Half-body apparitions would float in the hallway. Different color orbs would float around my room. There were even scratches on my wife's throat. The list goes on. It was evil for sure. I have plenty of pictures to back up my stories. The one picture below is of a half-body apparition from the waist up to the neck that would walk around in my hallway at night. I mean, it looks like a ghost in an Incredibles costume. Sorry. Salutations. Hey, ghost. We're reading paranormal stories, as a matter of fact, so, ghost, welcome. I'm away from the keyboard, but listening. That's good, because I'm not away from the screen, but I can't read what you guys are typing right now. I'll have to come back. Okay. Let's see. This next one is submitted by a lady in Florence, Kentucky. So I guess not everything is in Ohio. Weird things were happening in my house. Unexplained noises, doors and cabinets opening. I set up a motion detection camera in my basement. I caught what looks like an old man walking in front of my computer. You can see through him. There's something behind the chair also. Not sure what it is. I mean, it looks like a blurb. It doesn't even look like a person. It just kind of looks like a big, weird shaped pillow. I don't know. Again, if you're new, I have not figured out how to share my screen on Streamlabs, and I don't want to screw up the stream, so... Yeah. I didn't know these set of stories required this picture background, so... this person is from Williamsville, Ohio. I'm the co-founder of a paranormal investigation team, called Paranormal Nights. On one of our investigations in late 2012, we visited a client's home to investigate claims of the paranormal. The client said they witnessed shadow people, objects in the home moving, and doors being slammed and locked. After we completed our interviews and began investigating, the home came alive with objects moving. We saw shadows crawling across the floor and ceiling. We had things happen and evidence to believe that this was something of malice and possibly demonic. Here's an image of something manifesting in front of our client. We drew an outline around the area. We also warmed the image for clarity. It's weird because this is like... It's like they're taking like a series of photographs, like one after another. I'm not really sure what that's called. I know my camera can do it. If you just hold like the shutter... Is it shutter? You hold the button down to take a picture, then it takes a series of pictures, and that's what it looks like they did here. And you can see this thing like gradually developing, looking right at the camera. It's really weird. Let's see here. Yeah. I was taking... This one's from Milford, Ohio, which already, lots of stuff coming from Ohio. So I was taking care of an elderly patient as part of my job when one day she said to me, "Get these two men out of my room." She also said, "They've come to take me away." She was acting confused, which wasn't normal for her. Other than that, she seemed okay. I went home shortly after, and I learned the next day that she died about 20 minutes after I left. Oh no. Someone made a comic of it. What? Let's see. There's a photo taken months after my husband passed away. We had taken a bunch of pictures from the same spot doing different poses, but this is the only one that had an orb. Friends of mine have zoomed in enough to where you can see a face. Honest, you can't see a face. It just looks like a white blob that's like up to her hip height, which is crazy. Weird. Afraid of trains. I live next to a railway bridge. I have to walk under it every time I go to a store. Ooh. There's like this one area on the expressway when we're going like to Flint, and it's a bridge that goes off the expressway, and there's two bridges that go over the expressway, but one of them is for a train. And one time when I don't know if I was going to work. Yep, I was going to work, and it was early in the morning. It was dark out, and this was a long time ago. And some semi had miscalculated the height of his trailer, and he smashed into it. And he smacked it so hard that he messed up the bridge. Obviously screwed up his truck, but he did so much damage that both sides of the expressway were shut down. I don't know how that bridge was fine after that, but I hate going under that thing. Hate it. Let's see. Here's the next one. This one's from Amelia, Ohio. Growing up, my dad's house held many spooky, unexplainable nights. We would hear loud, heavy footsteps running up the stairs when we were home alone. It also sounded like a person or thing was dragging a rake up the walls as it sprinted up the stairs. Hmm. But there was one room in the house where, sometimes in photographs, it looked like a man was watching us from the windows. The photos below were taken in the same room and 6 months apart, and each one shows a different window in the room. There's two different windows, and each one has a different weird... One actually kind of looks like Casper the Ghost, but like an updated, creepier version. Let's see here. Yeah, me too, Peter. Me too. Okay, let's see. So I started reading it, Gling. Let me go. Okay, I used to work in an office-type building by myself at night, and I always heard footsteps and other noises. The scariest night was when I was up in the front working in an office, and the door was open. At the time, I heard a woman coughing outside the door, and I looked outside in the hall. Nobody was there. I walked through the entire building, and I was the only one there. Yikes. You know how many times I've read that in the last week? A lot. That's happened to me too, but like so many times I can't even recount it. It's so weird. I think it's like sometimes there's like some sort of residual energy, or somehow sound travels way farther than it should. Oh yeah. No, when I've been reading some true stories. Sometimes when I'm doing like true stories, if it's only 2 sentences, I won't put it up. But if I think it's like, you guys might like this, then I will. But when it's the same thing over and over again, I won't, because then you would literally hear the same thing over and over again. This one is from Bridgetown, Ohio. My paranormal experience happened while I was standing at the top of my steps taking a photo of a framed picture I was selling online. You can see my legs and the steps in the reflection of the frame, and if you look closely, you can see the outline of a person's head as if they are standing in the stairway. I was the only person home when I took this photo. I remember feeling a cold chill on the back of my neck. I'm glad I didn't turn around. Okay. Oh. Yeah, it looks like the person is like on the steps below them and they're peeking their head up over the steps. Again, I'm sorry I can't share the photographs with you. You can all post stories on Duchess's subreddit. Link is in our community tab. Hey, thanks. Guess if no one else is gonna do it, I may have to start. I don't know if you guys how far you've listened back to my stories, Peter, or who else is kind of new here. But when I first started my channel, I only did stories that I wrote. And some of them I've taken off that only had like 100 views or less because my channel was so new. But I want to redo some of those. Um, just because I can tweak them a little and read them a little better than I did before. Plus, they're mine, you know. Yeah. Although working in an office building by yourself at night kind of sounds like a good job just because you don't have to deal with any other people. You can just kind of do your own paperwork at your own pace and no one's going to bother you. So, I don't know. I'm someone be like, yeah, it's haunted, but you know, I got my music. Unless something starts happening where they're like moving chairs and flinging all your papers off your desk when you just put them in order, that would make me so mad. Yeah, I don't know how far. Um, oh, some of the stories that when I wrote those stories earlier on my channel, like they're all fiction. The ones that I did early. So, all right, let me go back to this Fort. This one's from Fort Wright, Kentucky. I had an out of body experience when I was in middle school. I was lying on my bed one afternoon thinking about napping, but not really sleeping. I rolled over onto my belly, and suddenly I was at the ceiling, looking down at myself lying on the bed. Wow. This wasn't a dream. I was wide awake. There was a sort of vague cord running from me on the ceiling to me on the bed. I felt a floating sensation. It scared me, and I rolled back over, not knowing what would happen. When I did, I was back on the bed. I felt extremely heavy and vaguely like something was missing. I didn't tell anyone about it for a really long time and was still not sure what to think about it. Wow. Let's see. That one's just about specifically about a photo. This one's from Reading, Ohio. Let me check the chat. Oh yeah, there's a ton of fake stories floating around. You can kind of tell though by the way it's written if it's fake or if it's really exaggerated. But most people are just like someone's typing what they're saying and you can tell like they're not really writers. That's kind of how I feel like it's a more genuine story when it's not written well. It's just because most people aren't going to go into like an exaggerated backstory and go on and on and on about something that doesn't have anything to do with the actual events. I don't know. Just because I've read so many of them, you can kind of tell right away when they're totally exaggerated and fake stories. Spooky Pie. Hello, I don't think I've seen you before here, Spooky Pie. We are reading Paranormal Stories. Welcome. Welcome. All right, this one's from Reading, Ohio. I've always had a feeling that my house was haunted. Little things would happen here. And if you're new here and I didn't say hi to you, I'm so sorry. It's because I've been reading and I didn't see you. So, all right, so this one's from Reading, Ohio. I've always had a feeling that my house was haunted. Little things would happen here and there. I felt like someone was watching me. I would get random cold chills. The TV would randomly turn on or off. I would hear people talking. My family thought I was absolutely crazy. Ah, that's the best kind of person. Then, a couple of years ago, my dog Roscoe randomly started growling. I had this weird feeling and got cold chills. I decided to take a picture on my phone. And there it was. A man on my wall that looks like he was had a receding hairline on and a suit. Yeah, it's weird because it's daytime and her dog's sitting on her bed watching the TV And on her wall, so when there's like a shadow like that, there could be some, I mean, it looks like a man with a tie on, but it's really really vague. So what I would love to do is actually be able to be there and like run my hand in front of the light, because her light is on in her room. So I feel like there might be an object that's making that shadow appear on the wall, but since we can't see the rest of the room and we can't see a video of it, there's no way to know. So you just have to take someone's word on it. Let's see. Dogs always know what's up. That's true. They do. Dogs are smart. Don't know why people have to make up stories. I think that sometimes people might be hypersensitive, or like, I don't know either. Sometimes they just want to have their own story to tell. Maybe that's why. Spooky Pie is a nice avatar. I know, I really like that. Is it pink? Is it pink hair or is it red hair? My avatar is my kitty. Oh. Okay. This one is from, it just says Cincinnati, which is from Ohio. Let's see. This photo is of my daughter and stepfather. It was taken at Spring Grove Cemetery. Okay, that's one of the cemeteries in Ohio I was just talking about. My daughter's holding a fish in the picture and was the only child there, but you can see the figure of what looks like another child on the left side of the image. My stepfather passed away that night. This is one of the last. Oh, that's terrible. But on the very left of it, it looks like a baby's face is peeking. It isn't looking at them or the camera. Is looking like across. It's just the very front part of a baby's face. Very weird. Okay, let's see here. Okay, that was it for that set of stories. That's weird. All right, then we have some more here. This says it's 11 of the scariest ghost stories from Reddit. Dun dun dun. We'll see. But at least someone else had to go through Reddit and find them, and I don't have to do that because we saw what happened the other night when I went through Reddit. Disastrous. Psst, nobody tell a ghost. Oh no. Yes, yes, excellent. Welcome. We've got jackets, but they're on back order because of COVID. Sorry. Let's see. Let's see. This first story is titled, I Wasn't a Little Girl. I'm not sure why. I was camping with my husband, because you were grown up, and his family at a small remote lake in New Mexico. There were about 10 people in our group and another group of 6 people in the next campsite. It was nighttime and both groups were doing typical activities, making s'mores, having a few drinks, and telling stories. When we all heard what sounded like a little girl yelling out for help. Neither group had children with them, but we were all positive we were hearing a little girl and decided to search the area where we heard the noises. There was a field behind our campsites, and we all saw a very tall, pure white figure standing about 100 feet away from us in the field, making the noises. We all agreed this thing looked like it might be 6 feet tall, skinny, and white as could be. We made our way closer to investigate, but whatever it was that we saw started backing off as we got closer, and it disappeared into the trees. All night long, we continued to hear a little girl calling for help as we tried to sleep. You stayed there? Okay, raise your hand if you would just stay there. At least you should have recorded it. Come on. Come on, man. You're there all night and everyone's hearing it. Why wouldn't you record that? Sometimes I wish I could just talk to these people that wrote these stories, because it's so perplexing to me that you didn't take any photographs or any video evidence. Not even like you could have recorded the sound on your phone. Let me tell you what. I don't even care if you're camping in your backyard. You probably are going to experience something weird in the middle of the night just because of the creatures that are nocturnal that come out at night that you're not used to seeing or hearing during the day. Plus, it's quiet. There's less people moving around. Just creepy altogether. Sounds fun, actually. We should do that before it's too cold outside. We do have that 2-person tent. But then Trixie would have to sleep with us outside, and then she would bark at everything all night long. Sounds awful. Let's do it. Oh my god. Maybe it was friendly? I don't know. Oh, let's see. Okay, this one is titled The Walking Dead. Sorry, I was scanning the chat to see if I missed anything. I love camping in the deep woods. Xena, you really are just like rolling the dice there, aren't you? How many stories have you heard about people that go missing in the woods? I just get the drunks at 1:45 in the morning. I've seen the Blair Witch too many times. That was on TV yesterday. Or was that early this morning? No, it was yesterday. I just had it on the background and I wasn't watching it, but now I wish I would have watched it. Alright, this title, blah, 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 blah. Let me get back on track here. This story is titled The Walking Dead. We'll be the judge of that. So I'm a psychiatric nurse, and early in my career, I worked at a residential mental health facility. One of our residents was an elective mute, which means that he couldn't talk, but there were no medical reasons as to why. He had spoken earlier in his life and, in fact, seemed quite normal at the time, with the exception of being close to 7 feet tall. He'd been raised in the Deep South and joined the military when he was 19, but one night he vanished. He was declared AWOL and eventually was declared missing and then dead. 10 years later, a 7-foot-tall man walked into a VA hospital emergency room in my part of the Midwest and said to the receptionist, "My name is Marion Duchesne, not the real name, and I've been dead for 10 years. Those were the last words he ever spoke. He was covered in dust, was wearing the same clothes he'd been reported to be wearing the night he vanished. His social security number had not been used, and he had no identification on his person. They were able to identify him, I guess, via fingerprints. The family was notified, but they said they had already grieved their lost man, and whoever this was claiming to be simply could not be him. Wow, they didn't even go visit him. They demanded not to be contacted again. That's terrible. Marion paced all day, every day. I mean, wouldn't you not talk after you came back after being dead for 10 years and your family didn't even visit you? That's terrible. Anyway, Marion paced all day, every day, moving his mouth that looked like talking or muttering, but no sound came out. He had an unnerving habit of throwing his head back with his mouth wide open as if he were laughing heartily, but not even a breath could be heard. If I talked to him, he appeared to listen, periodically throwing his head back in that laughter mimicking way of him. That sounds terrifying. Various medications were tried, but none affected him either way, neither positively or negatively. Occupational therapy did nothing because Marion would just grin, and unless told to stay put, he'd get up and start pacing again. On my last day at that job, the last thing I saw was Marion pacing in the parking lot, throwing his head back to laugh. Later, I wondered if all along I'd been dealing with a ghost. All these years later, I still don't know. I mean, I don't think that you would get fingerprints from a ghost. Do you guys think that you would? I mean, yeah, because it said The Walking Dead, but it was because he was declared dead. But can you imagine, like, a family member of yours been missing and declared dead? 10 years later, he shows up and you don't even go see him? That right there, that trauma right there would be enough to make someone not speak again, because that's awful. What now? I may be brave or just crazy, but I feel at home in the silent woods. They call to me. Sounds fun. I go up north Michigan just to enjoy. Sorry, I'm reading through the chat. Ghost with fingerprints. Bam! This one's called The Unrest Stop. Dun dun dun. The irony in the title. Rest stops at night are creepy. Crowded or not, those are creepy. I've heard too many creepy stories about rest stops. That could be its own video right there. My gosh. So I was driving cross country with my mom and sister when I was 16, and my sister was 20. It was late, but we were all rested, still, and alert. We were driving along an interstate and needed gas and a bathroom break, so we stopped at the only rest stop in 200 miles. There was a van full of teenagers on a road trip at the gas station, as well as a small gray car parked at the pump in front of us, with two young men standing still outside of it. Red flags! When we get there, everything felt wrong. We'd been on the road for days and seen many rest stops at night, and had never been afraid until then. My mom and sister went inside and I stayed in the car. And I heard the teenagers say they were creeped out and couldn't get the pump to work, and they left in a hurry. I was watching the car in front of us, and the two men had not moved at all, not an inch. They weren't talking, they weren't on phones. They were just standing there still as stone. Excuse me, I had a yawn. My sister and mom came running back out to the car, and when they got in, the two men slowly turned to look at us while not moving or pivoting the rest of their bodies. And I swear to fucking shit, we all saw the same thing. They had eyes as pitch, dark as pitch, and empty, so their eyes were black. Truly empty. Not black, not reflecting any light at all, just void. Oh. We sped out of there and didn't stop until we were in the city. I wonder if they were like mannequins or something. No, they said they were looked at them, so never mind. We sped out of there, didn't stop until we were in the next city. The worst thing about the entire experience, we couldn't find the place on a map. We knew exactly which spot on the interstate to look, and we couldn't find it on Google Maps or any paper map we had. We even asked locals about the creepy gas station out on that stretch of the road and only got confused looks. We traveled on the interstate since, and there is no rest stop. What? Come on. Checking the chat. Patrick Swayze can move a penny in the movie Ghost. You can get fingerprints from a ghost. So even in the afterlife, if you want to swipe something from the store, you can still get charged with a crime. Man. You know what I don't understand? If you're a ghost and you can go literally anywhere on the planet, why would you stay in one place? Seriously, how boring are you? You can now travel literally anywhere you want just by thinking about it. And you're haunting the house that you decorated 35 years ago? I'd say get a life, but it's gone. There's an urban legend about the black-eyed kids. I did a couple stories on them. I'm not sure how long you've been here. I need to do an entire, I could do several compilations of old audio. Seriously. For 2 weeks. I probably just do old compilations of videos because I've got so many videos on the channel. I wonder if I should do some videos where I just read chills and see if I get more viewers that way. I was gonna see if you guys wanted to request specific narrators to see if I should read that way. I think we did that a while ago. If your soul is not stuck to that place, I would travel. That would be kind of cool anywhere and everywhere. I know. What? Let's see. If someone I know came back from the dead, I'd give them a piece of toast. That's kind of mean. If they're back from the dead, they probably dehydrated. I didn't think of that. That's so funny. I'm so thirsty. It came for us in the graveyard. Dun dun dun. We were driving my friend's really old beat-up Subaru through a massive graveyard. We stopped and walked down a hill and came across a little pond. and there was someone sitting on a rock on the other side of the pond. The figure was all black, and we couldn't make out any features other than the fact that it looked like a man who was wearing some old style top hat. We stupidly waved and shouted, "Hi!" He didn't show us any acknowledgement and continued sitting still on the rock. Yeah, he's probably like, "Shit, you can see me." All of a sudden, he jumped to his feet, started running to us on the water, and then vanished in thin water about halfway on the pond. My friends and I screamed and ran back to the car. The car wouldn't start, of course, and we heard something banging on the back of the car. It wasn't a constant bang, but every few seconds or so we'd hear it. Nobody was outside from what we could see in the dark, but something was making a noise in the car. I opened my phone and started dialing my mom to come give us a boost, but I had no service. Of course not. None of us had any cell service. The next 30 minutes we spent trying to get her car started. No banging was heard afterwards, but we felt this heavy pressure around us. Finally, the car started and she hit the pedal to the metal. We sped out of the graveyard so fast. Immediately crossing the gates, all of our phones regained cell service. One thing I know for certain is that someone or something was out there, and it was not an animal or human. Man, I really want to go to a graveyard. They're all closed after dark. I'm trying to think, like, even around here, there's like a really old cemetery here. Like, I think, do you remember when we went to that cemetery in town when we were looking at the really old gravestones?
Mm-hmm.
What was the oldest one that we found? Was it 15
I
something?
don't remember.
It was really old. Really old. I was surprised. Chills. Number 15. Duchess reads a story. Everyone is shocked. Haha. Saliva-filled mouth. Damn finger hit wrong letters. Wait, what? Read like murder face from Deathlock with the salve with this mouth like this. Is that what you mean? Or like this? Wait, I can't. I don't even think I can do it. I think it's just gonna sound like this. If that's what you mean. It was good to see an old friend. It was good to see an old friend. When I was 37, I just don't think, like, chills can get away with it. Like, no one's gonna listen to me read a story like that. I don't know. Maybe I should do a whole video with a weird sounding voice just to see what the reaction is. And only you guys will be clued in that it's happening. There's 14 people in this chat, so only 14 people would know that that was premeditated. Everyone else is going to be super pissed about it, but you guys will think it's hilarious. Oh. Oldest grave near me is nearly 1800. I don't know if it was 15. Was it 1500? I don't know how old it was. It was one of those really old, really large white ones. And it was really, like, eroded. So it was really hard to read. But we have a really old cemetery in our town. Sir Spooks. I don't know specifically how he reads. Read it like a valley girl. Like, it was good to see an old friend. When I was, like, 37, I would probably say, like, a lot. I think someone's going to want to come through the computer and choke me to death if I read it like that. I don't think I can tolerate hearing myself talk like that. Do you want me to read this next story in Valley Girl? For sure. I will. I'm just going to read this one like this. I'm going to read like 2 sentences like that because I can't tolerate it. It's so...
Scared and junk.
Yeah, when I was like 37, I went to my high school reunion and stuff. I flew into the nearest airport and like rented a car. The distance was about 35 miles through a really rural and almost abandoned part of the country. Ew. About 3 miles outside the town, I see someone on the side of the road. Oh, flagging me down. Oh no. It turned out that it was one of the guys I had attended school with. Jem, not his name. Gets in the car and we start talking. I like not seen him in like 20 years and junk, but he's still like the same, like maybe even a little older. We get to town and I ask him if he wants to come to the VFW and have a drink, you know. He says, no way, just take me home. Do you guys want me to keep reading all this? Because it's so annoying. Oh, no, 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 no. We like your sultry voice. Oh my gosh. It's so annoying. Like, I don't even know what the story's about. Okay, yes, I do. All right, it's a high school reunion. She picked up a guy, looked like your friend, maybe a little older, going to the VFW to have a drink and go. Let's see. He says, "No, just take me home." Jim's parents had lived only a few blocks. I think it would be funny to have a horror channel that was just like completely Valley Girl. Valley Girl horror. Annoying yet funny as hell. I'm dying inside, Phantom. Me too. Me too. You know how many times I'm reading a story, I'm recording it for you, and I have to pause it and go, what the fuck? Or edit it out later because the story is so messed up that I can't believe what I just read. Anyway, let's see. We get to town and I ask him if he wants to come to the VFW and have a drink, and he says, no, just take me home. Jim's parents had lived only a few blocks from my grandmother's house, and I turned in that direction, but he said to take him to the outskirts of town. There was a mobile home park out there, and I figured that's where he lived. When we reached the end of the turnoff, he said, just drop me here. It was good to see you again, and walks off into the night. I go to the VFW, meet some of my old classmates. We start to talk. And as we're talking about who was coming to the reunion, I mentioned that I had just picked up Jim 3 miles east of town and dropped him off. Everyone gets quiet. Even the guy singing karaoke stops and lays down the mic. My cousin goes white as a ghost. New t-shirt, it says. Barb. Jim died on that curve 8 years ago. Rolled his car. We were all at his funeral. I started to feel really dizzy and went out to the car to take some deep breaths. There on the seat is the local newspaper printed 8 years previously containing Jim's obituary. I still have the paper. Now, I find that one a little hard to believe. That sounds like something that was made up. Does it not? That seems fake. I never liked that Valley Girl accent back in the day. Thank God I'm from the East Coast. I know. Can you imagine? California must have been hell. Hairspray and hell. Oh my gosh. Dangly earrings. Aquanut. Neon. Mesh. Whew. I'm sorry. Let's see. Hell hath no fury like a woman's scorn. This one's not very long, but after we moved into our home, we were told a woman had died there at the hands of her abusive husband. She hated men. My dad would wake up with scratches all over himself, and whenever my brother was mean to my sister or I, he would have scratches on him as well. Wow. One day my brother hurt our sister. He hit her with something. When he woke up later, he had a horrible bloody nose. The day we moved out, my brother accidentally broke his twin's arm trying out a wrestling move. He swears they would have died that night if it wasn't our last in the house. I think they meant that he would have died if they didn't move out of the house that night. Anyway. Fake, not face. Sounds fake. Yeah, but most anything that teenagers do is pretty much like that anyway, so not all teenagers are fake. I'm just saying Valley Girl, that was like the extreme fake persona was Valley Girl. It was the height of like that's when like everything terrible started happening right then. But that's when a lot of really cool things happen too. So I don't know. Anyway, Hairspray hell. My gosh. Yes, it would. That would be so funny. A can of hairspray that kills you. It just randomly. I mean, they've made a horror story about everything else. If you haven't seen the movie Tire, I highly recommend you torture yourself through that masterpiece theater. Yeah, I think it's on Prime. I don't know if it's free or not. The 1990s. We were talking about the 80s. Valley Girl was 80s, dude. Totally. Like totally it is. What was that what's that Nicolas Cage movie? Was it called Valley Girl?
Hmm.
It's called Valley Girl. If you really want to see Valley Girl and be like nails on a chalkboard, Valley Girl, Nicolas Cage. And that's when Nicolas Cage, like before he did like, I don't know, 7 movies a day. Like back when he, brand new actor. Brand new to the field of acting. Yeah. Anyway, there's some more stories here. Let's see. This one's called Death Came for Him. I was standing in my parents' room talking to my very sick dad at the time. He was dying of stage 4 esophageal cancer. I got the feeling something was behind me. I looked toward the doorway to the living room and something about 4'6" and fully black is peeking around the corner with its hands on the door frame. I ran toward it and it slipped back around the door. See, I'm going to pause there because that's what I would do if I saw that. I would run toward it. Anyway, let's see. I ran toward it and it slipped back around the door. When I got outside the doorway, there was nothing. My dad was completely confused when I stepped back inside the room, and I tell him. People who stayed at my house in my dad's final days claim to have seen it too. My mom saw the figure on multiple occasions in multiple places until he passed away, and we haven't seen it since. Oh my gosh, that's really weird. Really weird. Oh, you know what? I almost watched that the other day, Tank. Willy's Wonderland. Was it good? Color Out of Space and... Color Out of Space. I haven't heard of that one. Yeah, before he was famous. He looks like a baby. It's the 80s and we have to go to the mall where all the cool kids were. I'm 4'6". 4'6". I'm 5'8". All I have to do is kick it over and run. Yeah, that's true. Like, I never understand why people are scared of stuff that's smaller than them, but scorpions and rattlesnakes are smaller than us and we're scared of them, rightly so, right? I don't know why people are scared of something that you can put your hand through. Like, now watch. I'm going to get something screwing with me in my sleep because I said all this. I haven't seen any good movies in a long time. I'm trying to think of a really good movie I just saw. You didn't watch it with me either, did you? What were we watching yesterday and you were like watching it with me? It was on AMC, I think. It was newer and you said you don't like newer scary movies.
That one with Danny Cordray in it.
Oh, The Crazies. The Crazies. If you haven't seen that, I highly recommend that. That's pretty good. I haven't seen it in a while. I just saw it the other day. Willy's Wonderland is great. Nick Cage has no lines, yet he's the main person in it. That's weird.
His first movie was Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Oh, my husband just said his first movie was
Nicholas Coppola.
Oh yeah, because
Real name.
his real last name is Coppola, and his first role was in Fast Times at Ridgemont High, but he didn't want people associate, like he didn't want to get famous off of the coattails of like his famous family. A lot of actors will do that. I have respect for people that, but whether he changed his name or not, he still had all those connections. That definitely helps people.
Actually, they say he kept bringing up and bragging that he was famous.
He kept
All the other actors hated him.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not good. Eugh. All right. Queen's Gambit. I'll have to figure. Tell me about it. Let's see here. Greenland was good too. Man. Let's see. This one's called My Mother Attracted Evil. 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 Anyway, after my parents' divorce when I was a teenager, I lived with my mother. I experienced lots of paranormal happenings. Several times when I was reading in my bed, the room would start to feel really icy. Next, it would feel as if somebody that hated me was staring at me. When I got that feeling, I would leave the room and come back an hour later, sometimes during the day. I would see a shadow figure sneaking along my bedroom walls. Something in the flat was pretending to be my dog. I went into my room and I heard a deep growl from under my bed. Yeah, I don't think it's pretending to be your dog. I think it's just growling at you. My dog wasn't capable of making a noise that deep. It sounded like either a really big dog or a man doing his best dog impersonation. Other times, my dog would whimper and pace in the room next to mine, but wouldn't come when called, as if he was afraid something was in the hallway. When I moved in with my father, the paranormal activity stopped. That's really weird. So you're blaming that on your mom? Jeez. Poor. That's a rocky relationship. That's not gonna go well. It's awesome. He may say no lines, but he doesn't need words to make it an enjoyable film. It's like Meta. Take on Five Nights at Freddy's, where he's the player trying to survive. Happy Chestlet was really good. Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage was enjoyable. Didn't that just come out? I didn't even know that you could watch that yet. There was another movie coming out too that just came out. It's a scary movie. I don't even know if it's in theaters, and now my mind's totally blank. Anyway,
Movie coming out that just came out.
I don't know. Evicted by a ghost. So, shortly after college, I got married. We immediately moved into a basement apartment because that's all that was available within our budget. This place had a poltergeist, and my wife was terrified. Whatever resided there with us made it clear it wanted us to live alone. Dishes, glasses, and other items would fly off the shelf. My wife was hit several times. There was always an ominous feeling like we were being watched. At night, when we walked through the apartment in the dark, there would be insanely bright flashes of light that would illuminate the entire room. One night while we were going to bed, as soon as my wife and I walked into the bedroom, we heard a voice from nowhere say, my name, and then move. My wife looked at me, I looked at her, and I said loudly, "You've got it, bud." We moved out 2 days later and stayed with family. The old lady that owned the place died a few months later, and the house was torn down. It's still an empty lot to this day. Nothing but grass and a tree. I still drive by it every now and then. What? That's Malignant. Maybe that was the one that was coming out. No. Something was supposed to come out this Friday. Scary movie in theater is Malignant or Lamb. What's Lamb? Fateful Findings is a good movie. What the heck is Lamb about? I don't even know. It's like Edward Scissorhands. He didn't say anything, and he was the main character. Oh my God, you're right. I never really thought about that. That Edward Scissorhands, the actual character, didn't say a word. No, he did say something. He said a couple of things, but probably less than 10 words in the whole movie. Yeah. My name. Move. Well, the guy didn't give his name. Let's see. Death March. How many? 1, 2. There's 2 more of this one, but we'll find something else if you guys want to keep going. Let's see. This one's called the Death March. I kind of want to do a Boston accent, but I don't know if I can pull it off. Feel like I'm going to ruin it. That's probably the easiest way for me to talk, honestly, because if you're new here and you don't really know, I've always read and recorded me reading, but I used to have a really bad speech impediment when I was a kid, and sometimes, and now that I've brought it up, I couldn't say my R's, and now that I say it, I'm gonna have to overpronunciate my R's. Not sure what Lamb is, but it's a newer horror movie. I heard it's just come out. My last movie in cinema was the Lego Batman movie. Ronnie, are you laughing at the Boston accent? I swear I want to do a video with this just Boston accent.
Park the car.
We'll park the car over there. That'd be the easiest way for me to say anything.
That your patty's coming.
Effortless. It'd be effortless for me to talk like that. And quite enjoyable.
Go Red Sox.
The Death March. Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings, as well as Venom 2 this year. Might have seen something else, but I can't think of it at the moment. You should try and find dark web stories. I haven't heard a lot about dark web stories in a while. That was a thing going around with little Boston accent. That's hilarious. You should try to find them. Okay, I haven't heard any, but remember that was that trend where a lot of people are doing dark web stories, and I did one. And I it was supposed to be true, but after I'm like, that's not true. It's just not true, but it was terrible. I'm surprised it can't be. Like a lot of my content, like Serial Killer Saturdays are now, they're not banned, but they're like restricted.
Frowned upon.
They're not just frowned upon, they are literally age restricted now.
It's a true story. I don't know why.
It's been within the it's history.
Science.
There's tons of true crime, but I don't edit them. Like I don't edit out the horrific things that they did, so that's probably why. Whatever. If I ever do Serial Killer Saturday, it'll be because I start like a membership on the channel, and if I ever do start a membership on the channel, it'll be 99 cents. I would never. I saw that some people have $4.99, and they have thousands of people that pay them $4.99 a month. I'm like, what? That's crazy. Anyway, let's see. I've watched 5 episodes. Oh, you have. It's an effed up show, but it sucks your attention to it. I live in Manhattan now, and there's so many Italians from Brooklyn that talk like that. Albert Fish, it was brutal, and you know what? Albert Fish story doesn't even have everything that he said and did. That's the worst part about it. I know I love him too. My favorite is Brooklyn, New York accent with a little Puerto Rican. I don't know how you can talk that fast, but it's admirable. By far. I swear I want to do an entire thing with just that accent. I love it so much. Serial Killer Wednesday. How about Whack Job Wednesday? Whack Job Wednesday, where we'll hear killer stories all night long. I do want to do a stream where we do 24 hours straight, but I don't even know how that would work, and I don't even know who would listen to me for 24 hours straight. Oh my goodness. All right, so this one's called Death March. Death March. My dad used to work as a corrections officer at a rural prison. Now it's going to be hard for me to say my R's, so now it's probably going to sound like it a little bit. He drove. I had to move my whole face to say the word drove just now to say that R. Psychosomatic for sure. He drove the perimeter of the property for his entire shift. Oh no. I'm going to have to do a bunch of like word exercises tomorrow so that I don't talk like that all day. I'm an East Coast Italian, so I actually do talk like that. Creeper. The funniest thing I ever saw was 2 girls from Brooklyn, one Italian and one Puerto Rican, arguing over a guy. And they both lived? Oh my gosh. Okay, he drove the perimeter of the property for his entire shift. Oh yeah, where he would check empty buildings for runaway inmates. Oh, geez, this got serious. Okay. It was generally a boring job. So one night, my dad was parked. I almost said parked on a hill. One night, my dad was parked on a hill reading a magazine. Oh my gosh. This is going to be really hard to get through it and not screw up my R's. Oh my gosh. Creeper.
Duchess Dak.
Duchess Dak here to read your stories. Why do I sound like a monster when I start saying it like that? Duchess Dak. Anyway. Oh my god, I'm laughing too hard now. Okay, he put the magazine... Okay, One night, my dad was parked on a hill reading a magazine when he started to feel a thumping in his body. He described it as the feeling you get when speakers are playing a song with a really heavy bass. Oh my gosh. He put the magazine down and checked his rearview mirror where he saw someone outside the truck. He grabbed his pistol and jumped out of the truck with his weapon drawn. Outside the truck, he realized it was a procession of Native Americans walking through the truck and directly through his seat, only to disappear at the exact spot he was sitting. He said it was clear they were ghosts because many of them appeared injured. This went on for a few seconds, and then the whole procession just disappeared. He called the other perimeter guy on his walkie to try to explain, and the other guy almost immediately stopped communicating. Turns out the other guy had seen this happen before but didn't believe in ghosts, so he wouldn't talk about it. Oh my gosh, it just went on. Turns out the other guy had seen this happen before but didn't believe in ghosts, so he wouldn't want to talk about it. It's so easy to talk like that. Like, oh, the car. God. It's funny watching Cyndi Lauper talk. She has a very pronounced Queen's accent, so she can be quite animated with her voice. Cyndi Lauper is a big, huge sweetheart, and I love that she's just always been herself. The Shrunken Head crew is all from Texas, and they were straight mocking my accent. Well, they're from Texas, so we all know how we feel about Texas here right now. Hey, you on parking here?
The Langhorns.
What?
Texas Longhorns? Langhorns.
Go Texas Longhorns. Yeah. You're making me laugh. You have to stop with the accent. It's too funny. Park in the car. Park in the car near the park. I thought we are orphans. Indeed. Oh my gosh. I saw something up here. Oh, okay. No.
Gotta go recack the tub.
Recock. No. No. That doesn't have an R in it. You're going to say quack, you'd say quack. I'm going to quack the tub. In the bathroom.
Cack. Recack.
Emphasis on A. Bathroom. You know what I mean? Like, you really got to move your face to talk like that. But I like the Demon's Room. It's hard to read a serious story now after talking like that for like 10 minutes straight. It's not really scary anymore. Dun dun dun. Let's see, the Demon's Room. What should I read in next? Let's pick something. Pick an accent. Let's see if I can read in it. Don't do Russian, because I can't do it. I can't even pretend to do a Russian accent. I did a story where I tried to, and it was terrible. Terrible. I can't even fake a Russian accent. You get talking like that reminds me of the movie Ted when he was making fun of the Boston girls. Recack the tub. Oh my god. Alright, I'll just finish reading this. Alright. The Demon's Room. I worked as a forensic nurse in a hospital's lockup unit. We had one older lady who swore she was being haunted and abused by a demon she would call Tiberius. So many crazy things happened while she was on the unit. We'd go into the room, do normal care, leave, and seconds later, she'd start screaming bloody murder. Oh my god, I can't stop myself now. I was more into Madonna, Material Girl. A material world. Madonna just had a new album drop. Okay, anyways, let me finish the story. We'd run into the room to find her looking like she'd been in a fight with a boxing champ. Bloody lip, black eye, markings all over her body. My god, I'm sorry, I can't stop. No one ever saw her doing this stuff to herself. Things would get moved around the room by themselves. At one point, she was in protective restraints because the doctor thought she was hurting herself. There was no way she could have moved or done anything to herself while in these restraints. But new marks would always appear on her tray, and her cart would be across the room. The room was secure, so there was no way someone else was getting in and doing this. And when we asked a question, she'd just say, "It was Tiberius." After she was discharged, we always had trouble with that room. If there's going to be rapid response or code, it happened in that room. One night, a guard reported lights blinking on and off, and it was in that room. Dun dun dun. Oh, there's a bunch of like paranormal videos below that. I guess I have an Eastern European accent. Yeah, I don't think I can fake that one either because that's very distinct. Let's see, I thought he was tall guy. Wait, yes, Kling? What? Wogbugs from Boston, ain't he? Oh, yeah. Yeah, if you go back to his early stuff, he has a very strong Boston accent. Russian and Italian. Yeah, that is very ambitious. That's awesome. Question my sanity even more now than I did before. I think I can only do one at a time, and I've tried, so just little bits here and there. I find it's more enjoyable if it's just little bits here and there. He's a great by the way. Actor. Oh, I thought you were saying some Bostonian stuff. Interestingly, I found a few words in Italian and Russian are quite similar. Oh my god, no, I can't stop. Hopefully my next video doesn't sound like this. It's going to be a long day of recording. I recorded something for tomorrow today, so that's already done. Dun dun dun. Let's see. Madonna has a new album. Yeah, it's called Madam X. So I don't know if she's calling herself Madam X. Yep, Madonna, you mean Madam X. She's like the female Puff Daddy with how she changed her name a few times. Accent is too funny. Making me spit out my whiskey. Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. Yep. Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. Watch this movie, Fear. Oh, my gosh. You know how many people haven't seen it? That movie is scary as hell. If you don't know, Mark Wahlberg wasn't Reese Witherspoon was the girl. She was young. She was like a teenager. They were dating, and he became like, I don't know if he became aggressive or whatever, but he started I don't even know if they were broke up or not, but he started showing up at her house, and he ended up stalking her, and he ended up making their lives a living hell. Like, he went absolutely batshit crazy, and basically they couldn't even leave their house because he was like, he was terrorizing them. It was scary. I'm remembering that way, so now I want to watch it again and see if it's actually scary, because it was scary. It was very psychological. He was amazing there. I know. I don't know why, but I'm envisioning Harley Quinn reading horror stories. Oh, that would be... What a good idea. Maybe I should have Harley Quinn guest narrate a few stories. Wouldn't that be fun? That would be so fun, talking about demons and horror and stuff. Isn't that how Harley Quinn kind of talks? Kind of like scary things, but like she would probably read it like, I worked as a forensic nurse in a hospital's lockup unit. We had one older lady who swore she was being haunted and abused by a demon she would call Tiberius. Alyssa Milano was in Fear too. Yeah. Didn't he kill her in that movie? Yeah, I forgot she was in that movie. She was her best friend. He was aggressive, and they did break up before he stalked her more through the movie to the end. You got the old VHS of Fear? Are you kidding? Wow. I've been eating my words since 1992. I heard that Mark would be in a movie, Basketball Diaries, and I thought, psh, whatever. He'll never make it. He's probably a crap actor. Well, I think you get it. Yeah, we get it. Did that sound like Harley? Yeah, because I'd like to I think I'll do like the thumbnail will be with guest narrator Harley Quinn, just to see if I can pull it off. But tried to, but didn't succeed. Oh no. Yeah. Moral of the story is maybe don't ever assume anybody is good or bad at anything. Just see what's played out because you wouldn't want somebody doing that to you. I think the bad part about Mark Wahlberg is that he has some violent, like somebody was doing like a bunch of like famous people that are actually terrible people, and he was on the list. Um, and I can't say for sure what that was because I can't remember off the top of my head, but it wasn't good. There's such a thing as Harlequin romance. Harley Quinn horror stands to reason. Harley Quinn, hello. Oh no. Yeah, you guys will have to let me know if I should try it just to see if it works out. I think it would be fun. I think that horror is like an obsession for me, obviously, and you guys too. But I also like dark comedy or horror comedies or whatever you want to call them. Usually they're called dark comedies. But I think it's fun to add comedy into it because we can all use that, right? I know I can. Do you guys want me to do any more stories or are you like done? It's been about 2 hours now. I just found some more. I don't know how long they are though. Because sometimes they say paranormal stories, but they're not stories, they're two sentences, so. Harley Quinn, hello. She's bad AF. What now? Supposedly, Marky Mark had a race motivated fight when he was young. There was some other stuff too, like there was some crimes that he had committed that he didn't serve any time for. Um, were we talking about the people that are famous that like you would never guess were awful people? Was I talking about that to you guys just, or was I talking about that on a live stream too? Do you remember that? Anyways, there's like this TikToker that talks about famous people that turn out to be horrible people. Like you never guess who's going to be a terrible person. And so I guess like this one person had a food truck and they said this person walks up with their crew and it's kind of sunny outside and they have one person holding an umbrella over them and the other person is ordering for them. And the food truck person's like asking the person, do you want this and that on it? And the person's not answering. The assistant next to the person is like relaying information. Like they're standing right there. It's not like they're far away. You could speak directly to the famous person. I'm using quote marks. And ask them what they want. Guess who the famous person was that did this? Famous people horror stories. Oh yeah. It was Flo from Progressive. Flo from Progressive. Awful people. There's another one where this guy goes into a restaurant. It's remember the guy from like has anybody, I don't know what else this guy would have been in besides the movie Dodgeball, and he was like the guy that liked the girl with the unibrow. So he went into this restaurant and the waiter was talking about this. The waiter did a TikTok on this. The guy sits down, the waiter starts to take his drink order, proceeding to take everyone else's order and his like does he want appetizers or food? Literally didn't even like the guy just finished writing down his drink order and he starts yelling, "Where's my drink? Don't you know who I am?" Like, what? Yeah. Jesselnick? Who's Jesselnick? Jesselnick? Is that who that is? Roger Corman's Tales of Terror is a good example of horror comedy. Really? I'm going to take a screenshot of that so I can remember that. I actually should have taken a screenshot Element wants clown stories. I gotta remember that one. Anthony Jeselnik. He's the only comedian I think is funny. Oh, okay. Oh yeah, Ash versus the Evil Dead. Isn't that an entire series too? Well, let's see here. No, not Flo. It's secondhand information. I'm just relaying what I heard. I wasn't there. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Maybe she got mobbed by people. I just can't imagine Flo being like that. It also could have been a joke, but just not a funny one. Because it's not like she yelled. And honestly, it could have been like. There could have been a mountain of reasons of why that situation went down like that. But anybody who yells, "Don't you know who I am?" Yeah, we know you're the guy who's going to get your food spit in the restaurant. So I'm glad I wasn't with you. Don't you know who I am? I'm the plumber. I dare you to say that tomorrow. I dare you to say that. That was probably so loud when I just laughed in the microphone. I'm so sorry. 3 movies in a series for Ash versus the Evil Dead. Yeah, that's funny. I love it when something's funny, but it's not obvious it's funny, so only people that have like are paying attention are gonna get the jokes. You know? Any Roger Corman movie is pretty epic. Oh. The unibrow woman from Dodgeball was in Galaxy Quest as well. She's been in tons of stuff, actually. Oh, yeah. Yeah. All right, so I have a few more stories here, but after that, we'll call it a night. Okay? Honey, if you're tired, you can go to bed. I don't want to, like, keep you up. Okay. So I'm going to say we're going to go for, like, maybe 15, 20 more minutes, and then we're going to be done for the night, all right? All right? Is that all right with you guys? Worcester sauce. Just wanted to say it. Go down to Worcester and make a right.
Barbecue.
That's where we find a barbecue spot. That's where all the good barbecue sandwiches are. Will you let Trixie outside since you're going that way, please? Thank you. I love you. I mean, I really do love you. And you guys, too, since you all just heard me say that. Gosh. It's easy to forget you're talking into a microphone that's strapped to your head. Luckily, there's a mute button on here that I forget to use all the time. It's like totally okay and junk. All right, let's see. You gotta go potty, Tricks. One night when I was about 10, let's see, these are 29 chilling paranormal stories. I'm probably not going to read all 29. Let's just see how far we get before my brain's like, I'm done. I'm done talking. I'm over. 29 chilling paranormal stories that'll turn even the harshest skeptics into believers. My gosh. So one night when I was about 10, I was closing the blinds on my window before bed when I saw a man. He was standing by one of those trees in the yard. He looked like he had a hat and a long black trench coat on. Dang it, I'm not even trying to do it and it's still doing it. Anyway, he was holding an axe and his eyes looked completely white. I froze in fear and just stood there clutching my chest. The next thing I knew, the man began walking toward my window in a blink of an eye. He was face to face with me. The only thing separating us was the glass. I started screaming bloody murder and my parents came running. I remember them saying that they found me curled in a ball, rocking back and forth and crying. I had told them about the man, but they didn't believe me. Until the same thing happened to my mom. Oh, man. What would you do? What would you do? I'd be like, nice mask. I'd probably think it was a prank. Oh no. Did I squirrel out? My aunt used a Ouija board when she was a teenager with her best friends. Oh no. A ghost demon told them one of them would die within the next year and the other would die of old age. A year passed, and they stopped thinking too much about this prediction. Then, my aunt's best friend got hit by a car when she was on vacation with the family, went into a coma for a couple of days, then passed away. Oh my gosh, now I feel bad for Bostoning it up. My aunt went to her friend's neighborhood to look for her because she was late returning from her trip and she was worried. Out of nowhere, this golden haired little girl she'd never seen before and never saw again appeared and said to my aunt, "Are you looking for your friend? She's dead." That was only a few minutes after the car accident had happened. Everyone, don't use Ouija boards. People die. Don't let it happen again. Okay, listen. Although I am adamant about not using Ouija boards, a Ouija board cannot predict, like, it can't kill you. It's not, all it can do is tell you the future as your future is right. I don't know, though. I'm adamant. No Ouija boards in our house. No Ouija boards in our house. This is a damn rule here. That's a demon that died. Fake. Cling. Fake. Just that last line, though. Are you looking for your friend? She's dead. Like, what? I mean, you'd think the ghost would use a little bit of tact. Come on. One day in 2000, I had a friend come visit. We were sitting in the living room at night, and she froze. She was staring at the window. Should I read this over dramatically? There's some narrators that talk like this, but they have millions or hundreds of thousands of followers. I don't know. I started to panic, thinking someone was outside the window looking in at us. I looked at the window, and both of our reflections had our heads tilted. We were both sitting up straight. We both jumped up and started running out of the house. On the way to the door, I looked at the window, and the reflection showed us still sitting on the couch with our heads tilted. We spent the night elsewhere, and I started keeping the curtains closed after that. I still cover all the windows, especially at night. Ooh. Dun dun dun. Can't kill the already dead. However, you can give an opportunity to something that has malicious intention without you intending it at all. Do what you want. But I think you're smarter than that. I'm giving you credit that you're smarter than that. Anyways, my oldest brother died in his sleep 20 years ago. I had not spoken to him for almost a year due to family issues. The night before his funeral, I was very upset. I was sitting on the floor in my bedroom, and my wife was sitting on the bed with her arms wrapped around my chest. After crying into her stomach for a while, I said, "Roop, I'm so sorry for not talking to you." I felt a tap on my right shoulder and then heard my brother's voice say, "Maj, it's all right." I looked up and my wife's eyes were silver dollar sized, and I asked, "Did you hear that?" And she said, "I heard your brother say, Maj, it's all right." Holy crap! That's kind of cool. Lame. Cling! Lame. I'm picturing you doing this while you listen to my stories now on my channel. I'm going to try not to picture it while I'm narrating so I don't laugh. I feel like I should start inserting the commentary of my immediate reactions to these stories when I read them, because you should hear me. Oh my gosh. But then all of my videos would be like these live streams and I'd get distracted and go off on some other rant or channel or driveway that I thought of. Correction, you can kill an undead train with the Phoenix Down potion. If anyone gets that reference, you're awesome. Well, I guess I'm not awesome. I don't understand. So start typing. While staying at a vacation rental, I awoke in the middle of the night after having a bad dream. When I opened my eyes, I saw a woman kneeling at the foot of my bed with her arms down by my feet. Groggy and confused, I sat up to look closer. Whatever it was had no face, short hair. I almost said short hair. Ugh. And was wearing a striped sweater, not sweater. A few seconds later, she just disappeared. I sat there now wide awake and in total disbelief. I've never believed in ghosts and have no scientific explanation for what happened. I know I wasn't dreaming. In fact, I laid awake in bed after that for over an hour. She came by to fix the shower drain, and her eyes welled with tears. She told me something similar had happened to her when she lived there, and that her deceased grandparents once visited her in that room. Oh, excuse me, sorry. I yawned right into the microphone. You're welcome. And that gave me the chills. It's been 6 years since that happened, and the memory is still completely clear. I don't know if that was scary to you guys, but it's usually not a good sign when I yawn in the middle of reading a story. But I think I have, like, a squirrel. Kids probably wrote these. Yeah, by the sign of their usernames, I'm thinking so too. I lived in an apartment building in the city. When I first moved there, I was kind of confused as to how the elevators worked because they were super old fashioned and didn't have numbers on the buttons. I think you just had to count off from left to right, but I'd always forget. One day I came back from a long day at work and felt super tired. The elevator situation didn't help, and out of frustration, I pressed every single button there was. The elevator just stopped. I didn't feel it moving. Well, that's because you screwed it up, the elevator dummy. Anyway, my dumb ass started to pry the doors open with my hands. Oh no. It worked, but I wasn't on the lobby floor anymore. I stepped out into a hallway that looked like all the other floors except the lights were extremely dim. It was literally something out of a horror movie, and I got back in the elevator. The doors started closing, but just before it fully closed, a white hand shot in between the closing doors. I screamed and closed my eyes, and when I opened them, the door was closed. Now that one sounds more legit and actually scary. I don't know if you've ever done this, but I remember one time my brother and I, we were left alone to our own devices, as I've said many times here. And we were in a hotel, and we went down, like, there's not always this option, and probably not at all anymore because of situations like this. But we pushed, like, the lowest button. Like, there's buttons that didn't make any sense. Like, there was a basement button and then some other button that was below that on this thing. And I was a little kid at the time, so it was a long time ago. And when it opened, it looked like the underneath part of a parking garage. So I don't know, like, why there was even an option to get off there. Maybe they had, like, plumbing under there or some kind of electrical stuff that they needed access to. But it was the scariest freaking thing ever because it took forever for that door to close again. Ugh. I've never seen an elevator panel where you've got access to anything like that again. Like, there's probably a reason for that. It's probably something that requires a key, thank God. That's the only time that's ever happened to me, and that was actually super terrifying, and nothing ever happened, but Horror Banger 420. What? Is there someone in the chat that has that name? Or are you trying to tell us something, Peter? Oh, shit. Anyways, I'm going to have to wrap it up here because I'm starting to get loopy. We'll do 2 more stories and then we're out. And then we're out of here. Oh, God. All right. My husband would leave around 5 o'clock in the morning for work every morning. I'd roll over and go back to sleep. And one morning, he left and I heard footsteps walking back toward the bedroom, down our hallway on the hardwood floors. I rolled over and said, "Honey, did you forget something?" I saw a black shadowy figure in the bedroom doorway. It made its way into the room, past the end of the bed and around to me. It placed both its hands firmly on my chest and started to press down my upper body into the bed. I remember that all I could see was it wearing an olive green shirt with a bunch of colorful little things on it like yellow lightning bolts, squiggly lines, etc. I took both my hands, pushed it off, and yelled, "No!" And then it completely scared to get out of the bed and turn the lights on, so I grabbed the remote and turned the TV on and lit up the room. I never saw it again. Was there a like button? What? Oh, a kid's username. Yeah, I know. But these are like, one was named, let me scroll up so I can see it. Zaby. Like I'm saying it like that because there's like 8 A's in their username. The last one was Skatewitch Customs. So I imagine they must have like an Etsy shop. I'm just guessing off the top of my head. Let's see. I woke up one night when I was about 10 and saw a man standing at the end of my bed. I knew it couldn't be my dad because this person was taller than him and had medals on his chest. I must have fallen back to sleep, but when I told my dad about it the next day, he went really pale and asked me to describe the medals as best I could. I drew him some pictures of what I could remember, and that afternoon my aunt sent over pictures of the medals my great grandfather had been awarded during World War II. The ones I had drawn included those he was awarded posthumously. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, I can't say that word right now. I had never seen them before and didn't know what that they even existed, so it gets weirder though. Since then, my 2 little cousins and little sister have all seen the exact same thing. None of them knew the story prior to them seeing this person at the end of the bed, but have all described the same medals. Our great grandfather was buried at sea after being captured during the siege of Singapore. It's kind of nice to think that he's looking over us somewhere and scaring the crap out of you. Like, if you're going to come and visit, why don't you do it when the kids are sleeping? If you're going to look out for them. I'm here to scare the crap out of you once and only once. Goodbye. I'm your grandpa. Like, what? It makes no sense, but I'm sure it's probably really hard if you're trying to, like, manifest yourself into this life. Like, yeah. The like button was a question to your elevator. I figured that, but I didn't understand it. That would be great if there was like a like button on the elevator panel so you could be like, this is a great elevator ride. Or a thumbs down. Not great. Elevator was shaky. Would not ride again. All right, let's wrap it up. This is going to be the last story for the night. So let's see how lame this is. When I was 11, I was spending the night at my friend's house. We wanted to keep talking but didn't want to wake her parents, so we decided to text each other. We texted for about an hour, then put our phones down around midnight to go to sleep. When I woke up the next morning, I grabbed my phone and saw that I had another message from her. It was sent at 3 o'clock in the morning. It said, I'm watching you. I laughed and I said I saw her message from the middle of the night. But she looked at me confused and said she hadn't sent me any more messages that night. I showed her the text and told her I knew she was lying. But she swore up and down that she didn't send it. I didn't believe her and thought she was messing with me, but we pulled her iPhone out and showed me that she hadn't sent the message. This was back before you could delete sent messages on iPhones. I was still pretty skeptical, but still confused as to how the text came from her phone. We looked into it more and found that while the text was sent from her, it didn't come from her iPhone. It came from her old phone, which I still had saved in my phone. At this point, she was a little freaked out because she said she hadn't used her old phone in months. We went to her room to get her old phone, but ended up having to search for it for nearly an hour because we had no idea where it was. We finally found it, and it was dead, so we had to charge it. At that point, I was starting to freak out. We finally got it charged, pulled up her messages, but it wasn't there. She hadn't texted anyone in months. There was no I'm watching you text sent to me. We both freaked out, and to this day, I still don't know how that text ended up on my phone. Can't you do like an airdrop to iPhones? I don't have an iPhone. I know. Everyone, oh, ooh, poor me. Sorry, I don't want something that's super expensive, uses ton of data, and is super breakable. And they're super expensive. I'm sorry. I'm not made of money. So congratulations on all of you that have an iPhone. I'm happy for you. But isn't there a thing where you can airdrop something like that? Couldn't you airdrop from another phone to another phone a message like that? Is that something that's possible, or am I just like totally wrong? All right. Well, everyone's saying goodnight. Posthumously. Posthumously. Yeah, I can't say it. That one was kind of scary. The text one was scary, Gling. Are you serious? Ah. Okay. I'm always surprised at what people find scary. You can also send messages from an app and appears another number from yours. But wouldn't it, you'd have to know the exact number of the other girl's phone to send it to that phone. So it would look like it was coming from that number. Because I really don't know how that would happen. On, like, honestly, if I could afford an iPhone, I would. But between, like, yeah, no. I don't know if you know this, but I have a hand that doesn't work correctly, and sometimes it flings things. It either grasps onto things harder, and then I like have to like pry my fingers off it, or it drops things. So for a long time, we had no glasses in my house because I'm a dropper. I'm just super super careful. But this is like lucky that this phone. Also, don't have an iPhone. I don't want Casetify either. I have a cat prone. It's tough. All right, so I'm going to wrap it up, and everyone else seems like they're wrapping it up too. So I want to thank you guys for coming and listening and chatting, and it was fun. So, you guys are going to be in on the joke of the Harley Quinn guest narrator when it happens. I don't know which day I'm going to do it. It makes me nervous because I feel like people are going to be like, what the fuck is this? Anyways, you guys have a good night. Thank you for coming, and there'll be a video up tomorrow night. And other than that, I'm going to say, and now we can really make fun of the Kardashians because most people can't stand them and stuff. Anyways, thanks for coming. It was really fun. And I'm going to say good night. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Bye. Anyways, thanks for coming. Have a good night, you guys. Bye.